Slight set, he's heaven sent. Third person, omnipotent. Great words, no difference. I don't rap, I make art. Bird need a race car. This ain't for the faint heart. Above clouds like Game Star. My blood.
Now, hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Brendan Austin Timberlake of Slightlee Daily. This is episode 9 of the podcast series. I got a special guest with me today, but before we get into that, just want to show appreciation to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, watched the podcast, read my articles, all that stuff. I greatly appreciate that. Whoever has shown support in any way, it has not gone unnoticed, and I really thank you. The content is not going to stop. Now, to introduce my next guest, I have Seth, aka Baurkli, coming all the way from Texas.
What up, what up?
What's up,
pleasure.
man?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
More than a pleasure.
Before we really get into this, though, I just want you guys to peep this merch. You can't see it from all the way back there, but this is hand-sewn Baurkli merch.
Shop Baurkli merch.
Follow at Baurkli merch on Instagram. They make the dopest memes. Yeah, peep that.
Yeah, we're really on our meme game right now. That's the focus, and so the merch is, it just goes with it.
Buy his merch. He's really doing this stuff, man. He's really doing this. So, for those who don't know you, man, what do you do?
All right, so
what's
mainly,
your title?
I'm a musician. That's what I first want to be known as. As of right now, I've been making music for about a year and a half, and so hasn't been too long.
So
I've been in
definitely
the music game.
2018.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always sang, I've always made music, grew up singing, studied vocal performance in college, so dropped that after a while, and I wanted to go into audio production at MT, but then figured out that I just didn't really want to, or felt like I needed to go to school to do what I was doing,
and so really don't.
Yeah, straight up, and so pretty much just dropped out and up and moved to Dallas about a little less than a year and a half ago. I think it was August of 2018 that I moved there, so it's been a little bit less than a year and a half. But so yeah, man, just had a couple buddies that lived down there, and I just needed to kind of figure my own shit out, and so that was the biggest reason I up and moved, is because I kind of wanted to isolate myself from my normal and get out of my comfort zone, because as living here, it's super easy to just get comfortable and
work at McDonald's,
just hang out, get content with what you're doing. And so that was my biggest thing, is I didn't want to grow content with where I was at, and so I felt like I needed to push myself out of my comfort zone to start growing and getting to the places that I wanted to be at, and start reaching the goals that I had in mind, in which a lot of them were really far-fetched from the start, because I really never did a whole lot, but in the past year I've just really made a lot of progress, and I've really done a lot just in regards to building a foundation for what I'm wanting to do with music. Yeah. And so I feel like I've laid that foundation within this past year, of when I didn't know how to make music before I moved to Dallas. I was just starting to learn how to actually produce and figure that out. So, moving down there, I literally didn't know what I was doing, and so that was my biggest thing, is I had to actually learn how to make music. I was just moving down there blind. Right. I didn't even know if I could make music at the time, and so it's just a lot has paid off in the past year, just from me realizing and just seeing, things just take time and effort, and just, a good mindset of just, knowing what you want and working for it. That's my biggest thing.
What would you say is the biggest difference between Tennessee and Texas? Because I assume that, you might have different restaurants or blah, blah, blah. Traffic might be worse or better. But as far as networking wise, and I know you moved down there kind of to isolate yourself, but what would you say is the biggest difference between Tennessee and Texas?
Oh, man, I would say the majority and the population of people and the diversity.
Where exactly are you in Texas?
I live in Carrollton, which is in northwest Dallas, kind of North Dallas. And
Dallas is huge as fuck,
bro. It's if you can imagine a bunch of Nashvilles put into one, literally that's Dallas. It's kind of crazy, but so it's the same kind of scenario where it's all of the surrounding little areas, and so it's just you consider everywhere kind of in Nashville, like Nashville. That's kind of how Dallas is. With me is I just kind of refer to all the little surrounding spots, like still in Dallas, so I just sort of say Dallas, but I'm like about 20 minutes outside of like actual downtown Dallas.
I see. So how would you say, is it easier for a local independent artist to get their name out there in Dallas?
No, so I do think it is easier. Yeah. And really, I think a lot of what just I figured out myself with just starting to get into all this is that the biggest thing with music nowadays is that it doesn't matter where you're at. Like,
you're right, internet.
Literally, you don't ever have to leave your room, and you could become a millionaire off of just making just fire music. And so I figured that out quick. That and that was one of my things too, is moving from Nashville to Dallas. Is I was like, I'm leaving Music City to go make music.
So
everybody's like, that sounds pretty dumb, but that was my biggest thing, is I wanted to show and like really find out for myself that it doesn't really matter where you're at. Like, if you're doing things and people are connecting with what you're doing, and if you're doing it the right way, then it doesn't matter where you're at. But with me personally being down in Dallas, it's opened tons of doors for me. That like literally would not have even like come close to
like what?
Still being here. Like, so for instance,
tell me about your engineer situation.
So like I for instance, like when I first got down there, so I took 3 months off of work whenever I first moved down there, just sat, and that was when I really learned how to actually produce and stuff. And so just within sitting down there, I pretty much like this. I'm releasing an album pretty soon called Lonely Boy, and I mean we'll get to more of that. But I've pretty much had that album done, the majority of it, other than I added some different songs on there. Kind of towards the end of like this summer, towards this fall. But the majority of that I made last winter and probably January or February of 2019, and that was within the first 6 months that I was actually learning how to make music. Yeah. So this whole entire project is pretty much all the first songs that I ever made. And so
that's tight.
Yeah, like, so it was really good for me. So whenever I first got down there, that it didn't work, because that was when I started really figuring my shit out and learning how to produce and record and stuff.
Well, not even just producing, but just period.
Yeah,
making
just
music
in
at
general.
all.
Right, I never written before. I never done anything, bro. So I literally didn't know what I was doing.
I know you've been singing and shit. One thing I did want to ask you. All right, just dig deep here. You know that video of you singing at the talent show, that Hosier song, right?
Up, yep.
Dude, what? Tell me about that, because that shit low key was kind of viral around the borough.
Yeah, and I don't know, dude. I think that for me, it was simple things like that to where I saw potential in what I could do to connect with people. Yeah. And so, like, when I was here, I never actually made my own stuff, and that was my biggest problem with music. Yeah. Is that I was always in music, but never once did I ever did I ever do anything that I actually wanted to do. Yeah. I was always in music of doing things that I could care less about. Like, I was in musicals and sorts of things like that all throughout high school and everything. Drama. Yeah, and for me, just personally, like, I could care less about that. And so it was like, once I figured out, that I was wanting to pursue music, which I always knew. Yeah. But once I decided, like, I'm gonna give everything up and do this. And
be a recording artist instead of just a guy who's in drama, or
a guy who everybody knows for music. Yeah. And so for me, one of the big things that just helps me with like, I don't have anything to offer people because I didn't have anything made. I could tell anybody, oh yeah, I'm gonna be an artist. I'm an artist. But if there's nothing to offer, who cares? Yeah. And so, but for me, just something that helped with me is just little things like that, where somebody might have filmed me in high school singing. Yeah. And and then that just happened to where, like, people just like that, and I saw the reaction of people with things like that, and so that was how I kind of noticed, like, this is kind of bigger than what I think it is, and what I kind of know it is, and so just seeing other people's reactions kind of helps me with knowing where I stand,
Yeah, Connor, he literally in high school. It might have scrolled across your timeline at one point, but there's a video of him. It was a talent show, right?
It was what was it? It might have been. I think it was just a talent show at our high school.
This was even before I even knew you. But he had a video of him playing guitar and singing. Were you singing Hosier? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, he was singing a Hosier song.
Work song by Hosier.
Yeah, and dude, like, it made its rounds around the borough. Like, it was low key, kind of viral. And like, this was before I knew him.
And so I always saw, like, myself as having that potential of being like, this is, like I said, like, this is much bigger than I think, because of just reactions and things that, like, and what people would tell me. And, like, Twitter. I won certain awards and stuff during high school and had certain accolades that seemed very simple to me, as like I was saying with like musical theater, everything in regards to that, like I didn't actually care about that. And from seeing, you know, like certain like accolades and awards that I achieved during that period for something that I could care less about,
Yeah.
like, you know, that was when I realized
You're
like
like,
this
oh,
is something
You're like, oh, people like this? Oh,
things
I
as
don't.
in, you know, like getting like first or second chair all state, and I literally learned the song the day before and like had a migraine that day, and I threw up. I literally threw up beforehand and was in the bathroom, walked in, sang a song, you know, just did it. And then, you know, it's like things just first chair all state like that. And so there's things that to where like I think it's just normal because I've always been with, it's always been with me, and like I don't think about it, but seeing other people's reactions and seeing how it affects other people is where I really, that's always what kind of gave me just, you know, confidence in myself of even when I didn't feel like, you know, I was like all that good, or, you know, there was anything that special. You know, other people always seem to kind of reinforce that for me, and so that always kind of helped out a little bit.
So I, as a artist, as a musician, when I step into the, you know, when I put that hat on, I didn't have people in my family who recorded music or sang or played instruments or anything. It was kind of an independent thing for me. So the music taste that I have is kind of like my own, you know. Do you have anybody who like in your family who like played guitar or like was like, hey Seth, I sing?
It's funny that you asked that, man. So I have on my dad's side of the family, it's not very big. There's only, you know, a handful, like a dozen of us or so.
Okay.
But on my mom's side of the family, everybody that lives here in Murfreesboro, there's at least probably like 45 of us.
Damn,
and
deep.
Yeah, super deep. And, it's just a big family down here, and everybody lives in Murfreesboro. Everybody's always been around each other. We grew up with each other and stuff. So I have a big family, and just about everybody like either kind of sings, you know, even the people that can't sing or something, like they're still good at singing. Or, but there's just there is a lot of actual like talent with music.
church
vibes. My cousin, she leads worship down in Dallas, and then my other cousin, she plays the guitar.
Oh, you got family in Texas?
Yeah, it turns out it was a coincidence that I had some cousins that lived down there when I moved down.
I didn't know that.
We're all kind of ended up relocating to Dallas. It's kind of funny. It's just a weird coincidence. Cool. But no, like literally everybody in my family in some way, shape, or form almost has some connection with music. So I grew up with my dad playing guitar, and so I grew up on you know, playing talent shows in elementary school in 3rd grade, singing, you know, Tarzan soundtrack, Phil Collins, and, you know, like in 3rd grade, so while my dad played guitar, you know, like shit like that. So I did always come up around music, and I mean, as children and like growing up as kids, there was just sitting around while my dad played guitar like all the time. So I think that kind of established it. And then I grew up in church choir, you know, like I grew up nonstop. There was never a point in my life that I wasn't involved some way in music. And so that's just kind of like what I'm saying. You know, I always came up with it. But finally, you know, but it took me till I was 21 to realize, you know, like I've just been doing a bunch of stuff I don't actually care about that other people want me to do. So like here I'm going to switch my focus to things that I want to do. But so like you asking if I came up with that, like literally yes. Like me and both my brother James, he's a singer.
Older brother or younger brother? 2
older brothers. I'm the youngest of 3, but my brother James he was up in Nashville for a little bit. He lived there, but he made his own. He made an EP maybe about 6 months ago or so.
Oh, dope! Really?
And he does
on?
More singer-songwriter acoustic type stuff.
Oh, okay. Is that on like Apple and shit?
Yeah, so he goes by James Nelson. I'm actually not 100% sure if it's on Apple and everything.
But it's on the internet?
He's pretty low-key about it. So he owns have you seen here, Brass Horn Coffee opened up?
I haven't.
So
is it a coffee shop?
He's running that coffee shop out on the square. So he's really more focused on that stuff.
Might have to shop local, man.
No, straight up. Like, but it's a specialty coffee place, so he really knows what he's doing. Like dope. It's cool. But no, yeah. So he's focusing on that more than music. So out of everyone in my family, I'm definitely the one focusing on it the most. I feel like, you know, trying to pursue it the most, but everybody is in some way involved. So I always came up with it.
What's your relationship with Evan, man?
Yeah.
And take me back, like, when did y'all meet type shit? And then when did y'all really become friends? And when did you decide, all right, I'm about to move to Texas? Because it takes a lot to want to just live with someone, but also move across the country with someone, you know?
Yeah.
So take me through that, man, because I know y'all share something special.
Yeah, bro. So
I know y'all do.
I grew up with Evan and his brother Sam, who's in my grade, graduated 2015, and so I grew up with Sam, and I was closer with Sam while we were growing up, and they went to church with us and stuff. So I grew up with them, and so coming up with Sam, I was pretty good friends with him, and we were all through middle school and everything. Well, their family moved down to Texas in Dallas when we were like freshmen in high school.
Okay.
So that was Sam and the majority of the rest of their family moving down to Dallas.
All right.
And then Evan just stayed here because he had just gone into college, or he was like a senior maybe, or it was like our sophomore year or something like that. I think maybe it was like his freshman year in college. So he stayed here to go to MT.
Yeah.
And so whenever all of them left, I guess kind of over the years, me and Evan grew a little bit closer and stuff. And then by the time,
since you already knew his younger brother, you were like,
and I was always tight with Evan. We were always bros. Me, Sam, and Evan were always bros. And I grew up with Evan at church and stuff. Like we played church league together at St. Rose and
basketball?
stuff. Like yeah,
dope.
Like, church league, shouts out. But but anyways, like yeah, like I was always good friends with Evan. So it wasn't anything like we just randomly, but like we were always friends. But it was never those people. You know, you got that core group you come up with. And you don't really hang out with other people outside that much. But when I got into college, I started kicking it with y'all and everybody over there. It was kind of the same thing. I started kicking it with Evan a bunch, and then me and Evan just kind of grew like that better relationship than we did have and got closer. And by the way, if you don't know, Evan is my he's really like my manager, as we would call it. That's the biggest thing we would say, and he just handles a lot of things on the back end that I just like
the shit that he don't get recognition for.
I don't have time for really, and so that's our main goal right now is trying to get that machine running. But so anyways, what we were talking about, like he had moved eventually when we were in college, he moved down to Dallas with the rest of his family.
Okay. And
so then that led to me being here, and I still got all my best friends here and stuff, and so like it was all good and stuff. But over the years, I'd always been talking to Sam and Evan. They're always like, yo, or I was always like, yo, when are y'all gonna move back here and stuff? And then like beginning of 2018, I got a house with a couple of my buddies, and we ended up just not moving into the house.
Yeah, oh, in the borough. Okay. So it never actually happened.
We ended up not moving into the house, and so at that point, I had been living at my house. I was 20 or 21, and I've been at my house forever. And I was really trying to get in to start producing and start figuring that out. And so I lived there with my brother and his wife and like 2 of their kids. And so it was like a deep house. It's a hard place to just sit and produce. So I was to the point where I just wanted change, and I am the type of person that if I ever start feeling content or complacent with where I'm at, I start kind of freaking out inside because I'm like I don't like feel kind of.
You're like, oh my god, I'm wasting time.
I don't like getting in that loop of just that day-to-day
I could be doing something productive right now, but I'm wasting time, and I need to be doing something. I know exactly how you feel, bro.
And that's and like that feeling had always crept up on me, but I always wasted time while I was here. Like never once did I actually make the conscious decision like I'm gonna stop this. Yeah. And so eventually like I was still just at home and stuff. So at the beginning of 2018, I was just thinking, and I was like, literally, I'm just gonna move to Dallas. Like I honestly don't know why. Yeah. Like I was like, fuck it. And so, like coming up, I remember telling Sam and Evan in the spring, I was like, yo, like I think I'm gonna try and move to Dallas with y'all in the summer.
And they had a crib, they had a house there, and they were like, we got a room
and so,
type shit.
Pretty much, we were gonna try and get a place together. And so finally, I was planning on moving down there over summer, but I just took a little bit more time. I actually went and saw Drake and Migos. That was the only reason I stayed. Like a few months later,
really?
They played in like August.
So hold on, when was that show?
That was August. I think 28th or something.
Before you moved, before you lived there.
Yeah, that was before I moved to Dallas. Actually, it was a show here when it was Aubrey and the Three Amigos.
Oh, okay.
So they came here to Nashville. I was gonna move there, but I was like, I'm gonna wait for that show.
Yeah. Dude, I've been to 6 Bonnaroos. Okay, I've seen a lot of people. I've never seen Drake or Migos. And
it was dope. I'd always wanted to see Drake.
Yeah, of course. Did you? All right, let's talk about this. You remember Drake? Did you see on social media Drake getting booed?
Yes,
by Camp Flognaw?
Of course.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, that shit was crazy, bro. Honestly, I kind of respect it in the fact that like who's actually got the balls to do that?
To boo Drake?
Like it's so absurd. Like who could actually be triggered at that? I definitely understand where they were coming from and how they were just fiending for Frank and like Tyler and them. They're like crowds are just they're like it's almost a cult now. It's a cult, literally. And so
you like Tyler?
They were they were fiending for that shit. So I kind of understand, but I don't take it to like heart or think of it negative or positive. Like it definitely sucked and that was dumb. And they should have let Drake play. But more than anything, I just kind of geek about it. Like I just think it's kind of ridiculous. Like
So. Dude, let's go into. All right, we kind of covered base on the music thing, and I just want you to tell me, man, what is really inspiring you? What is giving you creative space that's outside of the music world? Because I know whenever I am doing something, I will, and I'm like having writer's block or a creative block, I'll go watch a Star Wars movie or something, or Futurama or something creative that I'm really like, ooh, like what inspires you that's non-music to create music? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
No, it absolutely does.
Because it's all art. It's all under the same umbrella.
No,
but
yeah,
like, what,
I completely see
what are
you're
some
saying.
movies or some toys, you know, something? Like
No,
what?
the biggest thing I would say is like fashion and stuff for me as of right
Oh,
now.
yeah,
Just
for
the
sure.
creativeness of fashion,
For
and
sure.
that's with the merchandise and stuff where we're really wanting to start getting our foot through the door is just kind of get same thing with the music is I've been doing this stuff for about a year or so with the music and really trying to get that foundation there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're starting to do with the merch and stuff.
Sure.
Is trying to get that foundation, and we're really trying to brand the name. Like that's our biggest thing is we want to brand Baurkli, bro. And so
How'd you
like,
come up with that spelling?
yeah, it's all kind of weird and random.
Yeah.
So like me and my squad coming up, everybody always had nicknames for each other, and
Okay.
so my name's Seth Farley, and so I don't know if you watch How I Met Your Mother.
I have never seen that show.
There's like
Have you,
there's
Connor?
a guy on that show named Swarley. So like my last name's Farley, so they just started calling me Swarley. So then that
Okay.
went to like Swarls Barkley, like Gnarls Barkley.
Okay, I got
And
you.
so then I literally one day before I'd even started making music, man, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing in the past year now that I've been making music and stuff is shit that I schemed up in my head like months and months before. Like my producer tag I have right now, I schemed up probably about a year and a half ago in my head one day.
And you were just like,
And,
is it your voice?
Yeah, I do.
What is it? Just say it.
It's a barbershop quartet. It's
Oh,
really dumb.
okay.
I honestly don't want to say it right now because I
Okay,
want everybody
okay.
to hear it on the album when it comes. But,
I got you.
I really, really fuck with it. I think it's absurd. It's a fucking barbershop quartet on the beginning of a song. Like it's ridiculous to me.
That's
but
tight.
that's what I really like. I like doing ridiculous shit that doesn't.
And
seem
it's gonna
normal.
be your voice?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's my voice. I
You're
did
not
a
like
P-
getting a girl, because you know how some people get into that.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
No, so
so-and-so
I actually
made
I
this.
recorded a 4-part harmony of a barbershop like quartet type harmony, and that's the producer tag, and I actually have a piano roll that I incorporated in with
That's
it.
tight.
So that's dope, yeah. But no shoot, what was I just talking about with planning stuff out?
Well, I originally hold on. I
What-
asked
what-
you what
what's
inspires
good?
you,
Yeah.
music or movie or clothes.
Yeah,
clothes wise.
clothes wise and stuff.
Yeah,
No,
dude,
but-
give me the what's up with the you sewing shit and getting a sewing machine, man. Cause
Man, I'm just always hungry to do new shit,
Yeah.
bro. I'm just always every day we're trying to find new things, and I'm so into just fashion and stuff. So that like that's
you've
the
always
main
been
thing.
like that on that vintage shit, that baggy
Yeah.
clothes and
Yeah.
board hats shit. You know what
Shut
I'm
up, bro.
saying?
Like
You've
your
always
grandpa's
been like
closet,
that.
Mercedes streets and stuff like.
At Fat Caps today, I have a Minolta.
Yeah.
It's a 35mm film camera. I took some shots there, and then I worked for a 2-minute truck.
Yeah.
And a customer gave me a 50s model Minolta.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
so
Honestly.
It takes like, real like, I don't know, grungy photos, but they're
Like
so-
grainy, like
Yeah.
not really.
It's just like it looks like a photo from the 90s.
Yeah.
I haven't-
Like a grunge show type shot where it's real bright in there, like someone like falling into a crowd surf or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's that. No, I love pictures like that.
Someone mid puke.
Yeah, literally mid puke, just pulling the trigger on stage. Yeah, but no, with that original question of creativity outside of
Yeah,
music,
man. Yeah.
really, dude, there's not a whole lot coming to me right now outside of the world
Yeah.
of music that's given me a whole lot of creativity. Since I've been in Dallas, I've kind of just dove head fucking first into music, and so that's
Yeah.
literally all I surround myself with all the time.
That's cool, man. And that's how you get good at something. You want to be the best fucking baseball pitcher, man. You better get your ass in that backyard or to your throwing partner and throw your
Study
ass
it,
off. You know, you want to be a
Study that
model.
shit.
Go on Instagram, search #photographer. Find some photographers. You know, go take some pictures.
Straight up.
Anything you
That's
want to.
one thing that gives me creativity too is photography and videoing and
Yeah.
stuff. The way I see other people do their shit, you know.
Who are some of your favorite
influences me.
vloggers? You have
Vloggers,
any?
bro. I don't honestly watch vlogs that much. No.
I've been watching David Dobrik. You know who he is?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been watching him heavy, bro.
Really?
He's got that shit figured out.
Well,
Like,
bro,
bro, his vlogs are
I don't doubt it.
Dope.
My thing right now is that if I have time to do other stuff, bro, I'm mainly working on stuff. And
Yeah.
so like when it comes to watching like vlogs, other than watching some Netflix shows and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
like I don't do anything outside of just sitting and making music and sewing. Oh, that
Cool.
was how we started talking. We were talking about how I got into like sewing. And
Sew
everything, too,
machine,
and
sew
so
machine. Yeah.
literally, I mean, for a long time, I've been planning and scheming up, ways to get into the merch because with
Yeah.
us with music right now,
Besides
man,
just screen printing,
exactly, and there's so
which is
there's,
cool, but
it is, but there's the again, you can only do so much with having a print on a shirt,
yeah,
and so that's what we're looking for quality over everything with our like clothes, really in the grand scheme of things. As of right now, it's kind of difficult to get the best quality,
yeah,
but in the long run, when it comes to actual like clothes and like the actual materials used, we're really wanting to go on full quality, and so that's why for one we went with the patch, is because a sew on patch that you're not ironing on, that you're sewing on, like
so not
the
iron.
feel and the look and everything,
Yeah.
it's just it hits different. And so that was one, like before I got the merch going and stuff, I'd been scheming stuff up and thinking what are we gonna do with this, so I got that white tee together.
Okay.
That white tee with me,
Short
my pick,
sleeve.
the short sleeve,
Okay,
the one I
okay.
first dropped with.
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah,
the
yeah.
car with a do-rag on.
Yeah,
I'm braided up.
yeah.
I'm braided up. Like,
Who took
so,
that pic?
My buddy
Shout
Chimpo.
them out.
Yeah,
Shout them
no,
out.
his name is Chimpo. Chimpography on Instagram. He's a great photographer. He's in Nashville right now.
Oh, word.
Yeah, he went to Ole
Dallas
Miss.
guy?
No, so he went to Ole Miss and now he's in Nashville. He's buddies
Okay.
with some of our buddies from Ole Miss, so that was how we ended up meeting him.
Cool.
But he's the one that he actually stopped by Dallas one day when I had a headliner show over
So
the
he
summer.
snapped that?
Yeah, so
in Dallas?
I had a headliner show coming up, and then he hit us up and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in town this week." So we're like, "Bro, I have a show like coming up." It was my first headline that I just got, and so
Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, bet." And so I got braided and everything, and so he just snapped that while we were in the car. Which that's one thing we're really looking to have. We have a camera and stuff, but having somebody there to film
someone-
and photo everything,
Yeah,
man,
dude.
it keeps that content going of when you're that natural content of not trying for
that
shit.
candidness.
Exactly.
There's one thing. All right, say you dress that black shirt you gave me. I could go and you could be like, "Yo, Timberlake, can you take a pic in that?"
Yeah.
I could pose or whatever. But there's a difference between you with a Baurkli beanie on and then me just coming through with the vlog camera.
Yeah,
and
straight
then you
up.
just like you and Evan just like talking
Yeah,
casually
exactly.
and like naturally. There's
Straight
a
up.
difference in that, man.
Straight up.
And dude,
I cannot find your Instagram for the life of me.
here, hold on.
No, yeah.
Just send it to me
Oh, well, yeah.
on Instagram.
If you look up Seth Farley too, I mean, I might pop up. We probably have like mutual
Yeah,
friends and
dude.
shit,
Here's his IG.
No, but so
Follow Connor.
I made those white tees, man, and
I was spelling this completely wrong.
I sold 85 of those white. First off, I
What?
got a batch of 25 of them to kind of test the waters
And you
and see.
sold out?
So I sold 25 of them before I even got them in. I sold them out. I mean, within like 2 minutes of telling everybody, like I sold them
Bro,
out.
what the fuck?
So that
Dude,
was
that's
really-
huge. And like,
yeah.
I'm not just dick riding you.
No,
like,
I know, bro.
That's
and
big.
so that was like, I did that, and I was like, bro, this is my goof ass on a shirt with a do rag on. Like, I look I look absurd, bro. And so like, me just doing that, I was like, okay, well, damn. And so I sold out 25 immediately. And so then after that, we got a new batch of 75 of them shipped in, and then
got
I
them.
sold I easily could have sold them all out, but I mean, after pretty much, I didn't try super hard. That's the thing, is I don't really market a whole lot and stuff right now.
just
and so,
Instagram right now.
literally,
And like, dude, I'm going to show you love anyway.
yeah,
And like, dude, and that's how it starts out, because you got to, first of all, you got to be confident in your shit, which there's a difference between cockiness and confidence, but
Straight
you
up.
got to be confident in your shit. You got to get people to want to fuck with you, to want to like wear you on a t-shirt.
it's like,
you
why
know?
is this unique enough to where people are like, I
Yeah.
want that?
Yeah, exactly, man.
And well, like with the Baurkli symbol, like even with that patch, bro, like I signed that on a piece of paper.
Really?
And I sent it in, and that was how I designed like the logo. And if you see on the white tee, it's signed out on there,
So
Baurkli.
what came first, the stickers or the Patches.
So that white tee came and we hadn't even done anything yet, and so after that white tee came, I loved what they did with just this. I just loved looking at just the signature, like with like just by itself in black.
Yeah.
And so then after I had been talking to like patch companies and stuff like that, I sent them in that signature. And
what was the company you use? If you
Patches for
can you
Less.
give that out?
Patches for Less. It's just
.com?
online, literally, like Patches for Less.
Because I'm trying to
online.
get into some merch shit. I want to do the stickers, and
Yeah.
I want to put like a QR code on my shit. Because I mean, I'm really website based. Like,
for
at
sure.
the end of the day, I'm a blog. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you look at the evolution of the internet, man. The beginning of the internet was very blog based.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely.
kind of in a way taking a step back. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Because everything is so saturated in today's time, and I'm kind of taking a step back from 2010. You know, whenever like Two Dope Boys and Kanye to the, I don't know if you've heard of those websites,
Yeah.
but like those websites, that was it
Yeah.
back in the day, and that's
No,
kind
straight
of
up.
what I'm trying to recreate, but also tying together the IG, and I'm mainly on Instagram
Yeah.
spreading my shit. And dude,
Yeah.
I've connected with quite a few people, to be honest, just from IG.
Yeah, I'm literally
It's
about
a
week
beautiful tool, man.
IG is unreal, bro. About a week or two ago, I'm not gonna say who, but like I got in touch with one of the Peep Soul producers, and me and him, he sent me some songs, and
That's
so
tight, bro.
I'm about to have an EP ready with him, like come like
You
probably
can't
February
say?
or March.
Come on, man, leak it.
I can. It's Young Cortex.
Okay.
So
I've heard of him.
He used to produce with Money Posse and with all just
Money
Peeps Gang.
Posse. Hell yeah, dude.
And so,
that's big.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah.
are you buying beats from him?
Yeah, I just scooped some
Dope.
off of him, but
That's dope,
it's
bro.
I have the Money Posse tag on the song. It's kind of crazy,
Ooh.
but just for me, I don't even think it's probably not even that big of a deal. But just for me, just for me knowing that like,
You were giving me a deal on the shirt.
yeah,
It's
I got
half
you.
off.
I know,
But
but
I mean, I will trade you.
no, that's straight. I'll definitely peep your shit afterwards. But yeah, no, it's just for me inside. It gives me encouragement.
I'm on your website right now.
The website's dope, isn't it, bro?
is dope.
It's dope.
It is.
I like these.
Subscribe
hoodies.
to
I
this
appreciate
mailing
you, bro.
list.
And that's probably about half of the merch we got.
They're reasonably priced.
Yeah, that's literally about half the merch we got. And I mean, if with the pricing on the merch and stuff, man, I mean, as of right now in my house, I'm unfortunately having to work, a full-time job down in Dallas.
Bro, you gotta get it. You gotta invest
Straight up.
money, time, energy. Like, bro, you have to invest. And right now, you gotta
That's all it
invest a little
takes.
bit of that time. You gotta invest a little bit of that sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, literally, I know, man. And that was my biggest thing is I wanted to just give everything up and to see what it's like, if I give everything up, and focus my everything onto something,
One thing.
like how,
Yeah.
like I can't see myself failing.
Can you peek over and see if that's still going?
It is.
Alright, great. I deleted so much stuff.
But I've never actually cared about anything enough to ever actually put all of my time into it. I
Yeah.
feel like with me, I'm the type of person that when I get into things, I get really fucking into them.
I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend today in the car. I was like right after lunch, I just got in the car and I was like, because I talk to her about this podcasting thing all the time. It's like
Yeah.
what I'm obsessed with right now.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, I was like, when I get scared working with people sometimes, like with Connor, because I feel like I'm so passionate about some things. I feel like maybe I'm like taking it too, like I'm too emotionally invested in it, and maybe the other people.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No,
And I feel
absolutely,
like
man.
maybe
That's
I'm
me.
like
That's me,
annoying
bro.
them.
I'm really invested in
Yeah.
whatever I'm involved in, and
Mhm.
it does, dude. It hurts you, and a
Yeah,
lot of times,
but you care so much.
But I think deep down, and that's what I figured out too. Is let me sacrifice everything to put everything I have into one thing, to where I don't want to have to think about anything that's outside of the realm of what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that was one of the big things I did. Was literally sacrifice and gave up everything for just doing this. Like,
Low power mode. You're good. You're good.
but yeah, like it's crazy to see in the past year of just the progress I've made, and nobody really knows what I'm up to and like what I'm actually doing, because I'm in Dallas, and like I put stuff up on my Instagram, and I tweet about some stuff, and
But not everything.
all my close people, but people really don't know what I do, man.
Yeah.
And so like right now when I get home from work, I work 7 to 4, like I was saying, and that's Monday through Friday. I'm getting home and I work in the studio from probably 5 to 8, and then we got, you know, an hour or two of allotted time
for dinner, and then
every single night we're sewing, and then I'm right
Yeah.
back into it. And so it's like I'm actually on a schedule outside of my job. Like
Yeah.
I force myself to be on a schedule, and so all I fucking do is work, you know what I'm saying?
that's how I am too, man. Because say, all right, we're banging these out, and I can really only get these in on the weekends because I work Monday through Friday too, man. And in between, like when I get home from work, I edit, I make some articles, write some articles. I'm, you know, on Instagram trying to make the dopest shit. And like, bro, I definitely feel you. And dude, that shit's gonna add up.
Straight up.
Because I started the @SlightlyDaily on IG like in April, and I've got like 200 followers, and that's
straight
big,
up,
bro.
For not just knowing people in your hometown that you came up with an Instagram.
Yeah.
It's hard to just make a random gram or like anything social media and just attract followers.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows who you are or what
Yeah.
you do, and so you have to actually go out of your way to like intervene in people's lives so that they
And
see it and
interact.
stuff. Exactly. And then not annoy them with it, and so that they it's hard to find a medium, you know, of what people want. Like it's weird. But no, yeah, I mean, and with that, bro, I mean, like, I don't have weekends, bro. Like, I wake up at 7 a.m. on Saturday, and I'm in the studio from probably 7 till 2 p.m., and I'm literally just fucking recording and doing everything, and it's crazy, like, and I didn't, just in the past year, bro, of what I've learned how to do, it's insane, because, like, I didn't know how to do anything, and, you know, like, learning a DAW and learning how to actually produce and mix and stuff, there's nothing other than the fact that you literally have to take years to learn how to do it.
It does take years.
That's all
bro.
there is to it, bro. And so just in the past year of seeing the progress I've made of actually learning how to record, mix, and master, like whenever I started learning how to mix, so like this is my timeline of what I've been doing since I've been in Dallas. So like got down there, learned how to make some songs, you know, had about probably 10 or 20 songs ready and recorded.
And you write all your shit.
I literally do everything myself. I just recently been working with my boy Jonah. He lives up in Seattle, and he sends me beats and stuff.
How'd you link with a guy from Seattle?
He's from Murfreesboro. He just moved out there with his family, so he's living out there. But man, he makes fire beats, and he's one of my homies. And so me and him, other than that, I always was making my own beats. And so there is you'll hear on the album, there's a different, you know, tone and vibe and overall, you know, feel to everything I produce and write all the way through. Because when I do produce and write stuff through, I think I love, God, what's the name? Like, actually composing and and adding melody. I came up in choir, and so it's like I love melody and adding little layers into everything. So you can definitely tell a little bit of a difference, you know, in where there's my beats and where there's his, and just I kind of have that vibe because that was how I started learning how to make music. But so like, you know, like at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, I had some songs ready. So then, you know, came like June, I got my friend to mix. I had an album ready. I had Lonely Boy ready in the spring. Like literally my album, but like it was ready this
March,
past
April?
spring. It was ready probably 8 months ago. And so like I couldn't ever get it out because it sounded terrible. I had it recorded, I had the beat down and everything, but I didn't. But it was just down.
It was raw.
People don't understand that a raw recording of something sounds awful. Awful. And so my thing was,
no matter who
sitting
you
on
are,
so
if
much.
you're fucking Elton John or Young Thug or Selena Gomez, they gotta have a team, a squad of people in there fucking with the settings and
whatnot. Straight up, bro. Straight up. And dude, the first few songs I released, I had no pitch correction. They literally are just mixed.
Just raw.
I didn't master them. And so like, if you listen to the first few that I put out, they're ass. Like I didn't do anything on them that I should have because I didn't know. But that was what it came down to, is that I started playing shows over summer, and then I realized real quick, like,
on them studio speakers, you were like, oh shit, it's not loud enough.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds great in my room, but then you get on anything else and it sounds terrible, you know?
Yeah.
And so I started playing shows, and I started realizing, like, hey, people love this. Like, I got a headliner show after playing 2 open mics down in Dallas.
Where's that at?
I play down at this place called Deep Ellum a lot. Deep Ellum Art Co. It's a spot down there, and there's several venues down there. But Deep Ellum in Dallas, it's a huge music scene and like bar scene.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely my favorite spot to play. A lot of local stuff going on. But like I had 10 or 20 songs at least, you know, ready to go. But coming into summer, I couldn't, I had no timeline or any clue of what, when, or what, like how I was gonna release them because they all sound like ass. And then that came to the point where I was like, well, I'm either gonna have to start getting people to mix this, or I'm gonna have to start mixing it myself.
Do it yourself.
So came end of summer, I had probably 30 or 50 songs I'm sitting on, and I got like 2 or 3 albums ready and stuff like that. And
but it don't sound right.
I can't release a single bit of it. That was what it came down to. Is I realized, holy shit, I'm sitting on like 50 songs. And in my opinion, man, I probably have 10 songs that could be on like the top 100 on the radio literally right now. And this is all stuff I've never released that people haven't heard. And so like I just decided, I'm done with like I started having so much trouble finding time to do specific things because there's so much that has to go with it, and there's so many little things that come into play, whether that be, like keeping content on the internet, So I started realizing, if I'm out playing shows every night, that's taking away from my studio time.
Yeah, how are you gonna keep working?
Exactly.
If you're performing.
Yeah, so I started realizing those little things, like certain things of when I put time into something, that's taking away time from other things. So I had to figure out how to start managing things and what was priorities and, what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be the fastest. And so towards the end of summer, I literally just realized I'm just going to learn how to mix.
Yeah,
and so I probably spent like damn near probably up to 200 hours in my room towards like the end of summer or early fall. And I just taught myself how to mix. And so after doing that, I had like 10 I finally got the album mixed. And so now I'm to a point to where, and I was doing this the beginning of this year as well, but I'm to the point where I sit down, I'll record, produce, mix, and master a song in 3 hours. And I'll write the whole thing. Like I'll literally sit down. The way that I write a lot of the times is I make about a minute of a beat.
Do you go pen and pad, or are you iPhone
So I wrote
notes?
I write notes in my phone.
That's what I do
literally
too.
all day long, nonstop. And so kind of just throughout the day, I just always have like thoughts, or especially when I'm listening to music, I write a lot off of listening to other music. And so like if you just look at these notes, bro, I mean there's just
that's lit.
There's hundreds and hundreds of paragraphs and paragraphs. So I'll sit down and start making a beat, and then I'll start reading through everything I've been writing, and so that's how I'll find
through what's gold.
Exactly. And so then I'll just start playing with melodies in my head and stuff. So most of the songs that I write, I do off of one line that I wrote down. There's just one line, and then I'll sing that as a hook, and I'm like, well, that sounds pretty fire.
Yeah.
So then I'll get it recorded down, and then 2 hours later I have a full song produced, mixed, and recorded. And so I've gotten to the point now where I'm just in such like I found such a God, I can't think of the word, like a system of how I'm doing it, how I'm doing my mix,
a routine.
Actually, literally, like I'm on such a routine that it's so easy to me. So now I'm getting out of the phase of I'm having to focus on mixing and doing everything, because I just mix it real quick now and have it ready. Now I'm able to actually, it's like, okay, well I spent the last 5 months locked in my room mixing and mastering and recording, and so now that I figured that out, let's get out of that phase and let's start stepping into another phase. And so I'm really excited in that sense of I've finally gotten my sound down of what I'm looking to like hear in my own songs. And what and my biggest thing too is everybody else who I listen to, and pinpointing what I'm hearing with other artists, and then sitting in my room for 6 hours until I figure out how they did that.
Make that sound how you want it to sound, because you can be like, in my head it sounds this way, but how do I make it sound this way coming through my speakers? Or how do I make it, what setting can I mess with to make it sound how I want? Maybe the way I wrote it isn't how it sounds in my head.
Absolutely.
Like whenever it actually comes out of your throat, it might not sound the same as you wrote it down. And you might want to trash it, or you might want to come up with something else. You might want to add a word. It might even just be a single word, or a pause, one straight up pause.
And then just extending out vowels, singing in more of an emotional tone. Then so that's what I'll do a lot, singing, man, is I'll mix something 10 or 20 times. It is. And so I try and find, it's hard for me to, a lot of times I do first take stuff. Like most of the time I literally first take it, it's down, and that's that, and I don't ever have to touch it again. And so, because I'm always saying, and so I'm like, that shit comes so easily to me. That's just easy. But so what I do now, you know, is I'll go through 5 or 10 different mixes of it and figure out which mix I like better on it, and then pick out all those, you know, which ones I'm fucking with the most. And so, but yeah, like I was saying, like it's exciting for me because I'm getting out of the place of being a recluse and being locked in my room, that we're like, we've been scheming all year how to market this and what to do.
Like, hey guys, look what
so
I've been
now
doing.
we're about to present it all. Exactly. And so we're really about to step into just the full-blown marketing factor of it, playing shows every single weekend, doing pop-ups in Dallas every week and stuff like that. And
you know, you got the clientele here in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, man.
Yeah, bro.
You've got it. Like, that's really dope what you're doing, man. What you're doing. So the last thing I want us to touch on before we hop off here is go ahead and just announce your project. What's the title? You know, how many tracks is it gonna be? What are we gonna expect from it? Release dates, all that kind of shit, and then you know, we can close this bad boy up with, you know, whatever you want to say after that.
Yeah, straight up. So Lonely Boy, it's gonna be the title of my first album.
Okay.
I have 12 songs currently on SoundCloud, so I do have some music out.
Yeah,
and
you do.
Most of that comes from me just being in my room, and I'll make a fire song, and I'm like, okay, I'm just fiending to release this right now.
Those are all singles too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so Lonely Boy
Lonely
is an
Boy.
actual accumulation of a time period that
these
I went through.
None of them are on. These are going to be completely new, right?
There's one song on Lonely Boy that I've released, and that was "Call Me Baby."
Okay.
And I released that because I was planning on releasing my album, you know, pretty close to that, and then it ends up just it's taking some more time and stuff, and so. That song is gonna be on it.
So Lonely Boy is 12 songs.
10 songs.
10
songs.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like I said, man, I've had this shit ready since pretty much like spring. But then once I really learned how to mix and everything, well then my buddy started sending me more beats. And my initial vision for the album was that I produced, wrote, mixed, mastered the whole thing myself.
Like some Russ shit.
Literally, yeah. But then you know came to find out, you know, my masters don't sound good.
I get it. You want to be creative, but at the same time, that's a lot of work. And you don't need to do all that work.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
And I can get it done better with other people. Just so it's a lot of me just being stubborn, you know.
Exactly.
And so I just realized, you know, I kind of have to let that
like,
go.
hey, I could use your help actually.
Literally, yeah. So that's you know, I've gotten other people to start, you know, helping me out with the album, but still writing and everything. Like I did the whole album, but there are, I think, 2 beats on there now that my buddy Jonah sent me that are gonna be on there. But 8 of the songs I literally produced, wrote, mixed everything from start to finish. And so I'm really excited for it because this is my first project that through and through every song I feel like goes perfectly together, and like it rolls into each song perfectly, bro. And like that's nothing that I tried to do, but I was going, you know,
it's the same vibe.
In the time of last winter when I was first in Dallas, I was extremely depressed, man, and I wasn't sleeping for probably like weeks at a time. Legitimately, like I would sleep maybe like a night a week, and I was really depressed. And so that was where all of this energy on this album came from. Is me, I pretty much just got my heart ripped out, and I literally just wrote a whole love album, honestly, about just heartbreak album.
Hey,
that's where all that channeled.
You made something so ugly into something beautiful, I'm sure.
Yeah,
man. That's the thing about art and music, bro.
I don't really want to say it, I'm gonna say it, but like a lot of like I actually have like another either album or project that I'm planning on releasing early this year.
Hey, you heard it here first.
Called actually I was talking about it with my buddy Jack the other day, and he said it, but I've thought about it before, but after he said it I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna do that. But I'm working on something called I'm already working on it, but I'm looking for it to be ready, you know, kind of mid this year, but called Everything I Want to Say to You But Can't. And
I like that.
a lot of what I go through in Dallas, man, is that I was with people kind of like long distance. And it gets to a point where if somebody doesn't want to talk to you, you know, you're either going to be a bitch and just keep hitting them up and annoying them and being annoying and, you know, being that person.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I would hate to be on the other side of that, you know, where you don't want to talk to somebody and they won't stop. But I realized real quick, you know, like there's a lot of stuff I have to say. Like I'm not okay.
Sure, yeah.
And so that what pretty much where this project stemmed from is sitting up, you know, for hours and hours every single night and all day long, and pretty much just putting everything I wanted to say to this person into music. And so that's legitimately like every lyric. That's where everything stemmed from on this project, is everything I want to say to somebody,
but you can't.
But I can't. And so and honestly, it's funny because still to this day, like with what I'm just going through right now and stuff, like I'm really like kind of in the same position. And so
Yeah.
that's where a lot of my music stems from, is stuff I want to say to people, but I really can't. And so
Sure.
I'm excited for that. But that's where literally the whole project of Lonely Boy came from, was me sitting up at night crying, writing shit in my
Yeah.
notes.
And chronologically, the Lonely Boy stuff was made before the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Lonely Boy, this is literally a collection of all the first songs I ever made. Literally.
Okay.
Like some of like
Dope.
Conversations, the first song on the album, is the first song I ever made through and through, and I
Dope.
think it's an absolute masterpiece. And so it's weird to look back and be like, that's the first song I ever even made. And
That's
literally
cool.
I think it's a masterpiece, bro. And so yeah, like I am super excited for it, man. I'd say all in all with Lonely Boy, I've probably put around 200 or 300 hours into it
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
Easily.
That's dope. Well, Connor, you have anything else you want to add?
No, man. I think what you're doing is great.
Appreciate
Keep
you.
up the good work.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude. No, thank y'all for having me.
Like
Yeah,
I don't
pleasure.
I don't say this enough, but this, even though my face is on this camera, like the whole time, this is really me and Connor's podcast. Without him, I know, but now, we just added this now, but yeah, without Connor, like how Evan is with you, he's kind of behind the scenes and stuff. Like Connor's like,
Everybody has their position and everybody has
Yeah.
their things they do best. You know what I'm saying? That's what I figured out too,
And-
is you
and you
can't
can't-
do shit by yourself.
yeah,
straight
that's
up.
exactly what
You
I was
need
gonna
help.
say. You cannot do this shit alone. And yeah, man, I just want to say this at the end of this podcast. Shout out to Connor. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. Seth, do you have anything else you want to say before we hop off here? I really do appreciate you coming in, man. Like,
No, I'm glad I can make
schedules and shit
Yeah.
didn't line up, but I was not accepting no for an answer.
No, I'm
man.
literally
I
so
had
glad.
to get
I'm
you
so
in
glad
here.
I made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I guess just to finish up, man. Like I got a vision, and it's gonna happen really soon, and
Yeah.
it's gonna snowball, dude. Like we have a lot planned, and people, we're just low right now, bro. But like a lot of stuff's gonna happen this year. I have like a publicist, and
Nice.
I have a promoter down in Dallas, and
Dope.
so I have many things like at like in my hands that I just haven't actually taken advantage of yet.
Yeah.
And so we're about to actually take advantage of all of the marketing aspects and really get out there and just shove this shit in people's
Yeah.
faces, bro.
I'm
And
ready
just-
for it, man.
So like it's a lot is gonna change this year. People think that I kind of been sleeping and not doing a whole lot because in this past year I haven't done much to actually get out and promote this
that
stuff.
people know.
But people know, but like we haven't promoted shit, bro. We're about to promote everything full blown, man. Like full blown. Evan's a genius when it comes to
Yeah.
managing and marketing and stuff like that. And we're starting to get a team of we're figuring out what we need, what we're lacking, and who we would need to fill those gaps.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking this year, the team's really gonna come together of instead of just me and Evan doing everything
Yeah,
and me
yeah.
being fucking exhausted all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of our main goals this year, is really to establish a team and get some people that where things we're lacking,
Yeah.
fill those spaces in. So I'm just excited, man. 2020 is going to be an exciting year for me. I'm
Good.
really confident in what we're doing, and like this is legitimately all I care about. I pretty much gave up everything in my
Yeah.
life to do this. Like I gave up friends. I moved states. Like
Yeah,
I literally
you dipped.
I gave up a lot to do this, and people don't really see that. And but like I sacrificed a lot, so I have a lot of confidence in this, and
Mm-hmm.
this is legitimately all I care about. And so I just ride with the wave, like because it's gonna happen, and people are sleeping, but like
man.
it's about to pop off soon. So I'm excited.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure having Seth Farley, aka Baurkli, on this podcast. This was the 9th episode of the Slightlee Daily Podcast. Please follow him, buy his merch, shop at Fat Caps, follow me at Slightlee Daily. It's a wrap.
Baurkli.com, look it up. It's Baurkli. Baurkli. Look up my music. That's the main thing I want to speak for itself.
Yeah.
And the merch is following. So
We'll hook you up, man. We'll get it all in.
Yeah, we got you in the
It's a bet.
article.